Today, I want to speak directly to you, the one who, from a very early age, felt that you weren't born to live on autopilot. Maybe you've never been able to fully explain it, but there has always been a restlessness inside you, a quiet knowing that working just to pay bills, follow schedules, and repeat the same days over and over was not all life had to offer. While many people seemed comfortable walking the conventional path, something in you felt unsettled. It wasn't arrogance. It wasn't empty ambition. It was a silent calling one you tried to ignore many times, but that always came back. Have you noticed how ideas appear in your mind out of nowhere, as if you see opportunities where others only see routine? You walk into a place, observe a business, a company, a project, and immediately your mind starts imagining improvements, solutions, different paths. And often you wonder why no one else sees it. Why does it seem so obvious to you and so invisible to others? This was never overthinking. It was never pointless dissatisfaction. It was always a signal. Throughout your professional life, you've probably experienced some strange situations. Bosses who felt threatened by your initiative. Colleagues who said you think too much. People who try to push you back into line whenever you question the norm. And yet, how many times has someone come to you for advice? Ask what you think before making an important decision. It's as if people sense that you see beyond the surface. And that creates a curious paradox. Some are drawn to you because they trust you, while others pull away because they feel exposed. And then you start asking yourself, why does my presence make certain environments uncomfortable? Why do I never feel like I fully fit in? The answer is simpler than it seems. Because you weren't made just to occupy space. You were made to build. If this video is resonating with you so far, it's because this restlessness has lived inside you for a long time. Before we continue, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and write in the comments, I know I was born to build something greater. That simple action helps this message reach more people who feel exactly what you feel, but still don't have the words for it. And if you wrote it, that already reveals something important. Ordinary people simply consume ideas. People called to something greater recognize when a truth hits deep. Deep down, you've always known there was something different about the way you relate to work, money, responsibility, and the future. While many live only for the immediate present, you think long-term often without even realizing it. You feel the weight of choices. You understand that every decision builds or destroys something down the road. That's not anxiety. That's vision. The truth is, people destined to build something meaningful are rarely recognized at the beginning. They don't stand out because of a perfect resume, an impressive title, or apparent stability. What sets them apart is how they respond when things get tight. While many give up at the first obstacle, you discover a strange strength that shows up precisely when everything seems to be going wrong. How many times have you thought about giving up on a project, an idea, a plan, and yet something inside you said, just keep going a little longer? How many times did you move forward even when you were exhausted, unsupported, and told it wouldn't work? That isn't stubbornness. It's strategic resilience. It's the kind of strength that only develops in those who are made to lead processes, not just follow orders. And what's most interesting is that even before you had visible results, you were already carrying too much responsibility. Maybe you were the one who helped support your family financially earlier than you should have, or the one who felt the pressure to succeed, not just for yourself, but for others. Maybe you always felt that you couldn't fail because someone depended on you even if you never said out loud. That weight was not placed on you by accident. Ordinary people carry only their own concerns. People called to build carry visions, expectations, and futures that don't even exist yet. And that is more exhausting than you admit. At many points, you probably wondered why your professional path seemed harder than other people's. Why, while some advanced quickly, you felt like you were moving in circles, falling, restarting, trying again. But here is a truth that changes everything you were, and behind you were being prepared. Ordinary people learn through quick courses and ready-made manuals. Long-term builders learn through expensive mistakes, painful falls, and decisions that hurt both the wallet and the ego. Every failure that wounded you wasn't wasted, it was refinement. Every door that closed protected you from building on weak foundations. Because those who are meant to sustain something big must first learn how not to break under pressure. Have you noticed how your hardest experiences have made you more strategic, calmer, more clear-minded? Situations that once caused panic now make you pause and think. That didn't happen by chance. Your emotional system was trained. Your mind was forced to mature early. While many collapse when they lose money, status, or position, you learn how to recover, recalibrate, and move forward. That is rare, and anyone who carries this inevitably influences others. Sometimes a short conversation is enough to leave someone feeling more confident. Sometimes your presence alone calms tense environments. That happens because you transmit stability without promising shortcuts. You speak little, observe deeply, and act when necessary. That kind of posture isn't learned from books. It's built through experience, pain, and responsibility. And maybe that's why you never tolerated toxic work environments for very long. You feel when a place is misaligned with your values even if the paycheck is good. You sense when a project looks promising on the outside but is rotten at its core. And when you insist on staying where you shouldn't, everything starts to fall apart. Conflict arises. Exhaustion grows. Motivation disappears. That's not bad luck. That's a clear signal. You weren't made to sustain empty structures. People called to build something solid cannot remain where there is no real purpose. Your discomfort has always been a compass. Over time, you began to notice a pattern. Every time you got too comfortable, something happened: a crisis, a layoff, a disappointment, an unexpected breakdown. At first, it felt unfair. But looking back now, it's clear every rupture was a push. Every ending was a redirection. You weren't made to stagnate. You were made to evolve even when it hurts. While many cling to the illusion of security, you are moved out of your comfort zone because your mind cannot tolerate prolonged mediocrity. Not because you think you're better, but because you know you can deliver more. And here is a shift that few people recognize. What you once saw as professional losses were actually strategic protection. Projects that failed kept you from being trapped in limited models. Partnerships that ended saved you from bigger conflicts down the road. Paths that looked promising but collapse prevented you from building something that couldn't sustain growth. Ordinary people see only the present moment. Builders are protected from collapse before they even realize it. You didn't lose time. You gained clarity. You've always had a quiet ability to read situations. You walk into meetings and feel the atmosphere before anyone speaks. You notice hidden intentions, disguised interests, real opportunities, and mass traps. While many get excited by polished speeches, you watch behavior that may have made you seem skeptical, selective, reserved, but that sensitivity has always protected you. How many times did you walk away from something without being able to explain why, only to later realize that decisions save you from major losses? That's not luck. That's trained perception. And maybe you never talked about this because it sounds too strange, too rational, even too spiritual for the business world. But the truth is, great builders have always been guided by more than numbers. They feel when it's time to move forward and when it's time to step back. They know not every opportunity should be taken, that knowing how to say no is just as important as knowing how to act. And you learn that through experience. You learn that growth without alignment comes at too high a price. There comes a moment in the life of someone who was born to build when everything starts to make sense. The falls, the delays, the silence, the restarts. You realize none of it was random. Every experience shaped your vision, your ethics, your way of leading. You didn't become rushed, you became consistent. And that changes everything. Because big projects don't just need speed. They need emotional, mental, and strategic structure. And that you have. Now, there's one truth that marks a turning point. From a moment you truly understand who you are, you can no longer settle for less. Not less money, but less meaning. Not less work, but less impact. Your internal standard shifts. You become more intentional about where you place your energy. You protect your time, your mind, and your vision. And that unsettles some people. Because those who live on the surface are uncomfortable with those who seek depth. But you can no longer pretend you don't feel what you feel. You can no longer shrink yourself to fit into spaces that cannot hold your vision. Maybe right now you're feeling a strange mix of calm and anticipation, as if something inside you is aligning. That's not anxiety. That's readiness. It's the sense that you've spent enough time being prepared and that a new phase is beginning to take shape. And no, that doesn't mean ease. It means clarity. People called to build don't receive easy paths, they receive direction. One step at a time. One decision at a time. And you've always known how to walk that way. And here is the most important point of all. People like you are not forgotten by time. Every invisible effort, every sleepless night, every difficult choice has been recorded. The world may not have recognized it, yet but the internal construction is already complete. And when the inner structure is ready, the outer world begins to respond. What lies ahead is not punishment. It's not weight. It's not pressure. It's responsibility with purpose. It's expansion. It's harvest. If you feel this video spoke directly to you, write in the comments, I accept building with purpose. Like the video and subscribe to the channel, because here we speak to those who were not born merely to survive, but to build something that lasts. Your professional story doesn't end here. It simply changes level. And now, more than ever, you are not being prepared to lose. You are being prepared to sustain what is about to arrive.